Hey everybody, Belinda Sandor here. Welcome to Lessons from the Cockpit. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to Lessons from the Cockpit. I'm Belinda Sandor, and I will be your host today. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, I'm the founder of the VA Connection, where I coach and mentor established and aspiring virtual assistants to have the business of their dreams. And I work with my students in my free online community, courses, and coaching programs. And today I'm going to be your host. So today we're going to share tactical and practical information about decisions that get in the way of your success. You know, we all have barriers that get in the way, and we're going to dive into them today. And we do this every Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. So put it on your calendar and join us each week that we go live. I'd love to hear where you're coming in from. So please put it in the comments. We're streaming all over the place. We are on LinkedIn. We are on Twitter. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please click the subscribe button and let us, and that way you're not going to miss any sessions. We have live training at least twice a week and often many more times. So definitely subscribe and ring the bell. Okay, good. So we've got George is here from North Carolina. We've got Mary is here from Arkansas. That's awesome. So keep telling me where you're coming in from. And I'm just going to, introduce myself because I think some of us, some of you, well, definitely Gwen is here from BC, Canada, and Heather, hello. We definitely have some new people here today, which is fabulous. So thank you for coming. So this is me and my daughter, Emily. And this was us in 2010 when I was just starting my virtual assistant business. And my life had taken a very unexpected turn. I was just about to turn 50. And, we all have these expectations, right? We all do about, where we're going to be when we turn 30, when we turn 40. So here I am, I'm looking 50 right in the eye, and I'm not anywhere near where I wanted to be. I thought I would be happily married. I definitely thought retirement savings would be underway. I thought I'd be a homeowner. So many expectations. I thought I'd have a job that I liked. And instead, as I'm looking at turning 50, it's sort of the global opposite. I'm getting divorced. I have to sell my home because I haven't been able to pay the mortgage for over a year. I have all kinds of credit card debt. I owe the IRS $1 bajillion. I haven't filed my taxes in 7 years. And, the thing is that this doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. It's this incremental thing that happens where, the first year that you don't file your taxes, I thought, okay, so I'm going to pull it together. Next month, I'm going to do it. And it just kept being next month, next month, next month. And it was next year. And it gets so overwhelming that you don't know what to do and you don't know where to turn. And so I just want you to know, if that's you and that's where you are, you can turn it around. You can turn it around. And part of what we're going to talk about today is how to do that. So I thought, all right, I don't have a job. I have a business that failed, a marriage that's, a disaster, and I've got to figure this out. So I decided to go back to my roots. Back in the dark ages when we were called secretaries, I was a secretary, and I loved the work. I loved the work. I'm a natural helper. I love administrative work, and I was pretty good at it. So I thought, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, and back then, 13 years ago, there was no virtual assistant. Like, there wasn't a title that I had heard about. So I just told people, I'm going to help you with your admin work. And I started telling everyone that I knew. And the first client that hired me, I told him at the school bus stop. So I'm standing there, I'm trying to remember what season it was. Actually, it was the fall. So I'm standing there and I'm waiting with Emily, and one of the dads says, "What's new?" And I said, "Well, I'm thinking about starting this business." And the thing that was so interesting was that he had started a business a couple months before, and I had no idea. And if he had told me that he had his own business, I probably wouldn't have told him about mine. And because I would have thought that he thought, right? He thought that I thought all the thought, right? We do this all the time, that I wanted something from him. But because I thought he had a job, I said, well, I'm thinking about starting this business. And his entire face changed. And he was so excited because I was able, because he started a business. He was drowning in administrative work. His wife was going crazy. She had 3 kids, a dog, and a job. And he's leaning on her. And she's like, you got to get some help. But he didn't know where to turn, right? So it turns out I was the solution to his problem of who's going to do the payroll, who's going to organize the books, who's going to organize his email inbox, all the things that he didn't have time to do. And it was awesome. And the second client I got, I met him in the buffet line of a wedding. And I didn't have a business card. I didn't have a website. I didn't know what I was calling my business, but I was standing there making chit chat. And he asked me, what do you do? And I told him, and he gave me a card, and I connected with him on LinkedIn. And a couple of months later, he reached out and said, I need someone to help me plan an event. Do you know anyone? And I said, me, I can totally help you do that. And so if you're out there prospecting and trying to figure out, who's going to hire you and putting flyers up in the cafe or leaving your business card someplace, that's not going to hurt, but it's not going to help. You really need to lean into telling everyone you know about your business in order to get it off the ground. And I want to say that this has been true for me and for my clients, and definitely for my students. I leaned in, I changed my mindset. This is critical. I started keeping my word to myself, because when I was going through all of the, the back taxes and the credit card debt and all the things, mostly what was happening was, excuse me, I would say to myself every night, tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. But I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. And it's so incredibly important to keep your word to your, excuse me, hold on, you guys. To keep your word to yourself, because that's how you start to build confidence, right? When you believe you, it makes a huge difference in your mindset, your attitude, all the things. And the systems that I developed and the methods that I use to run my own virtual assistant business are the ones that I teach at the VA Connection, and I would love to teach you too. So I've been in business since 2010. I've worked with over 225 clients and earned over $1 million as a virtual assistant over the years. The first year I was in business, I earned $70,000. And for the next 10 years, I brought in $100,000 or more, just me as a VA. And it's there for you as well. And I would love to teach you how to do that. So let's fast forward. And today is a completely different picture. Today, this is what my life looks like now, 13 years later. My finances are handled, no more minimum payments and just getting by. I've built a thriving business one day at a time. And I was there for my daughter as she grew up, and I can breathe again. I married the man I've been looking for since I was 20 at 60. At 60, it's not too late. And this is us on our wedding day. And yesterday was a huge, huge, huge day. And I need to add a new slide into this, all the PowerPoints. Yesterday, we closed on a farmhouse. We bought a farmhouse in Virginia, long time dream, and not a simple path. The thing that's interesting, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, is that to get where you want to go, it can feel complicated. It can feel like so many steps. It can feel like roadblocks are thrown, in your way all day long. But you just keep the focus. You keep the vision. You keep remembering where you're going, and you can blow through them. You can definitely blow through them. So let's jump in and talk about this. Okay. So, as a virtual assistant coach and mentor, I see common thoughts cluttering my students' mind. And the thing is that I recognize them so quickly because there are things that were in my mind as well, right? Wondering how much to charge, what tools they're going to need. What if the client says, fill in the blank, right? How many of you think that? What if the client says this and what if the client says that? And I've been there. I get it. I totally get it. But the thing is that while these are valid concerns, right? They're valid. I've learned over the year that these fears just get in the way of creating your business success and your lifestyle success. Because the thing is that what actually gets in the way is invisible, right? And the thing is that it usually seems reasonable, but we've got to decide to be in charge of our day to day, right? We've got to be thoughtful about the circumstances of what happens every day. Okay, because it's so easy to give into these limiting beliefs. It's so easy to think, oh, XYZ happened, and so this is completely reasonable. So let's dive into this a little bit more. Okay, so let's say you're in your car and you're driving your child to school, or you're going to the grocery store or whatever, and your car breaks down. All right, your car breaks down. It's completely reasonable. So you're sitting in the car, you call AAA, you get completely bummed out. You're like, OMG, I had all these plans for my day. It's completely diverted. This is terrible thing has happened. And you just decide, I'm going to take the rest of the day off. Like, I can't handle it, right? So think about that. So you could do that. You could take the rest of the day off, and you could complain about it. You could put it on social media. People would, they would, what's the word I want? Commiserate with you. And it would be reasonable. Like, this terrible thing happened. I'm exhausted. My day's blown up. It's not going the way that I wanted to. And you could take the whole rest of the day off, right? Or you could say to yourself, okay, so it's 10 o'clock in the morning. This thing happened. I've dealt with AAA. I need to get the car fixed. I made an appointment. Okay, take a lap, around your house, whatever. Get back in your seat and get busy. Because one bad thing happens, you don't need to take the whole rest of the day off, right? It's not traumatic. Nobody died. It's like your car broke down. Yes, it stinks, but you need to keep that focus. You could also be someone who has a job, right? A lot of you have jobs and you're doing this as a side hustle and you want to leave your job. I get that. So you can easily come home from work and think, I am so tired. So-and-so, ticked me off. They gave me this, they said that, blah, 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 fill in the blank. And it's easy just to say, you know what? I'm just going to watch TV tonight. I'm going to go to bed. I'm not going to work on my dream. It's very easy to do that. And from the outside, it seems reasonable, right? I worked all day. What the heck? Blah, not doing it. You could also, here's another scenario. You could receive a letter about something that's not urgent, right? And spend the whole day trying to resolve it. So for example, let's say, here's an example. Let's say you get a letter, which I recently did, from the Department of Motor Vehicles, and they're saying your car has not been inspected for emissions and blah, 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 and you have 30 days to reconcile it. Okay, so you can either take that on right now when you want to, when you know, not when you want, when you know it's in your best interest to work on your business, or you could work on your business and say, I'm going to do this in a less valuable, I want to say plot of times, what am I trying to say? So the time you want to deal with the Department of Motor Vehicles is not when you're at your brightest, your sharpest, when you want to be focusing on your business. It's at a different time. It's on slot. That's right. Time slot. Thank you. It's not, that's not when you want to do that. You want to do that at the end of the day when you are tired, not when you're at your sharpest. So you want to make sure that you're not just chasing shiny objects all day long, because you'll never get where you want to go if you're not deliberate, right? So I want you to think about this. I want you to stay focused on where you want to go. I want you to stay focused on that and ask yourself the question, right now, what's going to move the needle? What's going to move the needle? And chasing the Department of Motor Vehicles is probably not going to move any needle. And yes, you need to handle it. You need to handle it, but you want to make sure that you're being mindful of your day, because it's so easy. How many of you know this? It's so easy to go through day after day after day and look back at your week and think, what did I do? Well, I did laundry. I organized the linen closet. You know what? You got to leave that stuff in the dirt. so yeah, I want you to have clean clothes. I want you to have an organized home. But what I really want is for you to focus on getting your business up and going, because the thing is that to build your life around that instead of avoiding it or worrying about it, it's so much more rewarding. It's so much more rewarding. And the other things that you want in your life are going to fall into place. Sometimes it's interesting. I see people who want to have, I see this a lot actually, who they want to have a successful business. And I know they do. They've enrolled in VA school and, they're doing the thing and they're very committed, but I see them diverting their attention. They're diverting it. And I see all the effort that's going into the diversion. And I just wish that they would see the power of the energy that they're putting on the diversion and lean into having the business that they want, because it's the same kind of energy, but it's not on the topic that they want to make the most impact with. So think about your day. Think about, what gets in your way. When do you throw in the towel? When do you quit? And what can you do to lean into it even when you don't want to? Because I promise you, the reward on the other side is so huge. It's so huge. And I'm definitely here to help you. And one of the ways that I can help you is at this training that's coming up. It's called the Kickstart Your VA Business. And we're going to start on February 12th. And it's a 5-day free training all about how to get started or how to get to the next level if you want to move the needle in your business. Yeah. Heather, thank you. Yeah. Heather says, I hear you loud and clear. Yeah, so valid. Yeah, it's so easy to do this. I totally know. And the interesting thing is, so I just touched briefly on this, Greg and I bought a house yesterday, like holy Toledo. It's funny because my mom said something to me like, oh, that happened so fast. And yeah, it took 2 months and 13 years. 2 months and 13 years that, I was thinking about how is this going to happen? What are we going to do? And then really 2 years of leaning in, being clear, talking to Greg, getting us on the same page, getting in the car many, many, many times, looking at so many houses that were not the right fit, so many houses, and looking online and looking at maps. And it was totally a journey. And I had to keep coming back to like, okay, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. And it's the same thing with your business. It doesn't happen on its own. It doesn't happen without you. It doesn't just, take time to get it going, right? It doesn't just take time. It takes energy. It takes focus. It takes saying no. It takes saying no. And I want that for you. So Darshit says she's going to be joining us for the training. That's awesome. That's great, Deanna. Having Belinda on my team as a business guide has made all the difference. Thank you. I'm glad. I'm really glad. All right. So sign up, you guys. If you've done the challenge already, do it again. There's nothing wrong with a little jump start, kickstart, to get your juices running. I want to help you all have the success that you want. And it really is, it's an inside game. It's really all about, it's about the skills. Absolutely. But it's like this much is skill and this much is mindset. And I'm here to help you with both of those. But listen to the way you're talking to yourself. Listen to when you throw in the towel and say to yourself, is that who I want to be? Is that who I want to be? Okay, everybody, have a great rest of your day. I'll see you later this week. We've got all kinds of events coming up. Thank you for joining me for Lessons from the Cockpit, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.